This first video is going to show you how you can upload your video that you have filmed for your class using an iPhone or an iPad, and how easy it is to then bring that into iMovie here at U of L to then edit it down or just to convert it over to a format that we can then upload to our media server here at the college. So first steps is we need to create it. So we're going to come up here and click on the New button. Then we're going to click on Movie. And then it's going to say which theme do you want to use. Most of the time for class projects you're going to choose no theme. If you want to go creative, you can pick yourself a theme, but I'll stick with none. And then I'm going to say create, and it's waiting for me to put a title in up here. I'm going to go ahead and call it My Teaching 2015. Notice that it wants to put it where the default was, in other words, wherever it was the last time. And I'm going to say that I just wanted to go into a date like that. This is how iMovie keeps track of things. It does it by what it calls events. So there we are. Then I'll say OK. And at that point, it's waiting for me to import something new. And so now it's waiting for me to start to upload whatever my movies might be. So I'm going to click on where it says All Projects, because that's where my movie I just created is now living. And there it is. And I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to double click on it. Now that I've clicked on my project, I'm going to go up here to import. Now I have plugged in my phone and using the charging cable into the USB port on the back of my computer. And I'm going to now click on where it says Steve Swan's iPhone. iMovie is smart enough to recognize what are videos that are on your phone and of course what are not. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select one that is about 10 minutes long. And I'm going to import it. And at this point, I'm ready to do any of the editing that I need to do. I can either highlight everything, which is what I'm doing, as you can see, and then I drag it down here into the different editing lines. And as you can see, if I grab what's called the scrubber, this little triangle with a line on it, and I can slide it around, it will show me where I am in the movie. Now, in this movie, you really can't see anything because all I was doing was sitting with my phone filming the remote to the projector in the classroom I was working with. But that's how it works. You slide it back and forth like that. So if I wanted to just hang on to certain parts of my video, I move the scrubber to the part where I want to start. And as you can see, if I right click on it, I can come down here to where it says split clip. And if I do that, I've now cut this little piece off. I can now grab the slider and move it all the way to another part of my video. Again, right click where the scrubber is and split the clip there. So now I have three pieces. This center piece is the one that I really want to hang on to. The two other pieces I can get rid of. So I can right click on them and I can delete. Right click on them and I can delete. And now I have the one piece of video that I really want. Now, the question always comes up, what if you mess this up? Well, you can always go and do an edit, undo, delete. And as you can see, it will go all the way back to wherever it was that I first started deleting. Also, if you do mess it up so badly that you can't just undelete it, then here's your original, and it never gets changed in this process. So let me go ahead and I'll delete that piece, and I will delete that piece. All right. So at this point, I'm pretty much done in terms of my deletions. Now, I might want to add some things to it, like a title. And so I'll come over here to where it says Titles, and I'll click on Title. And as you can see, it gives me choices of what my titles are going to look like. Pretty much standard, I think, is what we probably want to stay with. And I'll put that in. And there it is. It's waiting for me to type something in. So I'm going to say March 16, 2015. And highlight again. And I'm going to call it My Teaching. And bottom title, then I put in my name. And again, that's all there is to it. Click on the check mark to make it stick. Or if you want to use the technical term, we just applied it. All right, now all I have to do is share. Now, sharing can get a little intimidating because iMovie tries to do all these cute tricks with sharing out to a theater or sending it via email or iTunes, YouTube, Facebook. For your purposes, all you're going to do is save it out to a file. And as you can see, it's basically giving me the dimensions of that file. It'll even play when I slide over it. It's telling me how long it is. This is not very long. And it's telling me about how big it is. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that's pretty good size for just a minute. So if I do come over here and play with sizes, as you can see, things do change rather dramatically in terms of how big it is. Now, for your purposes, you'll be doing something almost like an hour. And I'm going to show you how that looks in just a second here. Okay. So now I basically have got it down to as small as I can get it, and I can see what it looks like. Well, it's pretty, there's nothing really here to see. It's just a picture of a remote laying on a table, but I can see what it looks like. Now I'm going to go next. And now iMovie is basically saying, where do you want to save this to? I'm going to throw it on my desktop because I'm lazy and I want to be able to find it. So as you can see, the title's already there. Notice that it's an MP4. That is very, very, very important. To put it on our media server in the college, it must be an MP4. I'm now going to save it. And if you'll look up here in the upper right, there's like a little clock that's going to start going around, and it's going to tell me how we're progressing. As you can see, it's just started. This is probably the most difficult thing for you as a creator to deal with, for the simple reason that we are dealing with the hardest thing for a computer to do, and that is video. And as you can see, for just this one small piece of video that we have done, this is sitting here and it's not going very fast. Well, not as fast as what you're probably used to doing when you're working on a computer. All right, I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to show you what 54 minutes really looks like. Okay, now we're back. Let's look at what happens when we do this with a very large file. So I'm going to go through the same steps. I hit the plus sign. I basically went and created a new name. I think I'm calling this my large movie. This movie is actually on my desktop. It is 54 minutes long. It's called ULEAP test.mp4, and as I said, it's about 53 minutes and a half long. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go ahead and say import selected. Now, what I want you to watch is that came in, and it's still coming in. Watch your clock up here in the upper right. This is what's going to tell you what your time is like. Don't jump ahead until you see that that has gone all the way around. Now your movie has been totally brought in. Okay, let's do our same process that we did before. We have to select our movie. So I'm going to say I want the entire movie because I don't want to sit here and try to figure out how to select all of that. And then I'm going to drag it and I'm going to bring it down to my line down here. Select the entire clip, and I'm going to bring it down to my line down here, and I'm going to let it go. Now, once I bring that very large movie in, iMovie, essentially what it will do is it'll try to deal with it. And as you can see, with its 53 minutes here, it is really a mouthful for your computer to handle. Not only is it a mouthful, look what it does. It tries to make it very small so that when you're working on it, well, the problem with that is you really can't work on it with any kind of precision when it's this little. Over here on the right hand side is a little slider. Grab that little slider and pull it over to the right, and the first thing you'll see happen is now your movie stretches out so that you can actually see what's here. So once again, like we did with the other, we can now slide around inside our movie and find the parts that we want to find. Notice I can slide to the right and it keeps on rolling. I can go back and forth, and up here in the upper right is my screen that shows me what I'm looking at. Okay, so I don't want to have any of this beginning here where the lady and the movie are playing because they don't sound very well. So I'm going to start where the beginning is, where I start talking about the module that we are doing in our class. So I'm going to keep rolling with my scrubber until I get to that point where I can see the beginnings of the module. Now remember, at any time I can stop scrubbing. In other words, I can just stop moving it around on the screen like this, and I can click up here at the top to actually hear what it's saying. So if I want to stop right here and then come up here, I can play it. Welcome to Module 1. And I can hear where I am. So now I know that this is the part where I want to begin. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to drag it back. I can listen to it. If that's hard to hear, don't worry. Just go up here and click on the play button.
Welcome to
Okay, I pretty well know where I am now. So I can now slide it back and I can do the trick you've already learned how to do, which is right click on it. Split the clip. So this part of the clip I don't want. I don't need it. So I'm going to go ahead right now and delete it. Okay. Now look up here and you'll see that the number that represents how much time is now changed. So I can go back to looking at my video again and I can decide where I want to end it. So if I'm going to just take a piece of it, or if I want to get rid of parts of it that are not important, I'll come to that part in the video. I'll make sure I have it in the right spot. I know that by clicking on the play button up here. Click, right click, split clip. Okay, now I'm going to slide a little bit further and I'm going to say, okay, so this is when we had the announcements come on before I got ready to teach, and they have nothing to do with my teaching, so therefore I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to click again, right click, split the clip. So now I've got this piece right here that I don't need, and of course I'm going to delete it. All right. Again, I'm going to check my size, however long it is. I really didn't take away that much, did it? So now I have this nice bit of video that I've gone in, I've played with, and I have essentially gotten rid of everything. Now, at any point in this process, if you want to shrink it back down so you can actually see what you're doing, use your slider up here. And as you can see, it goes all the way back down. Oh, look, here's an extra piece that I don't need. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete that. So now, as I can see, I've got my final piece that is 44 minutes long. It wasn't that hard to edit. I have watched it. I know where the pieces are in there that I want to keep, and I know how to get rid of them. And I know that to do the kind of very discrete editing that I want to do, I've got to go here and stretch it out so I can see all the parts. And then I want to make sure that I use my scrubbing tool. In other words, I want to move down through the video. And I can see what is in the video by looking up here in this window right here. Okay? All right. And as I've said in the first part of this, notice your original is still sitting here. You haven't lost anything. Okay. Now, if we go up here and we click on Share again, and we come down to File, now you're starting to, I think, to get a sense of the sizes that you have to deal with when you start dealing with these very large movies. When I say large, I mean the amount of time. So look, it's remembered from the last time we used it, and it's saying, oh, so you want your resolution to be 960 by 540, and that quality is pretty low. But look here. Now, the university has a policy that it will only let you upload 100 megs. Do you see the problem? Your little video, which is now at its lowest quality, is 857 megs big for the 44 minutes. Now, here's the good news. In the College of Education, we have a media server that will let you upload up to an hour's worth of video. So, you are blessed with having a college that understands how important it is for teachers to be able to have video about their teaching. So again, I'm going to say, yep, everything looks good here. I'm going to go next. I'm going to make sure that it's saving it at MP4, which it will. And I'm going to save it on my desktop again so I can find it. Or, of course, if I've got a flash drive plugged in, which would be a smart thing to do, I'll locate it and I'll open that up and save it to that. But pay attention to how large that file is. Okay? Alrighty, so I'm going to go next. I'm going to put it on my desktop and I'm going to save. Look up here at the little clock that I told you about, and it's going to start in a while winding down. Now, this is the part that gets us in trouble because we're all impatient, or we all have a class we've got to get to, or we all whatever. So as you can see, with me just sitting here talking to you, it hasn't even begun. This is the hardest thing for a computer to do this kind of creation piece. And the computer I'm sitting on that I'm creating this for you is one of the best Macs you can have. If you want to say, well, if I were on a PC, this would be much better. I'm sorry. PCs and Macs use the same processing power these days. And so it has nothing to do with how new or how big or how expensive of a computer you have. This is a very, very intensive operation. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and show you how long it takes. 45 minutes later, there's your video. Okay? So, as we go through this process, you have to realize that you have to give the computer time to do this. Now, once again, I don't care what you're on. I don't care if you're on a Windows computer or if you're on a Mac computer. I would definitely not try to do this on an iPad, and I definitely would not try to do this on a phone. Okay? You just can't do it. You just don't have the horsepower. As I said, I'm on a very fast computer here, and it still took 45 minutes. Now let me show you how we're going to take that file that you've now created and put it somewhere. As you can see, I've gone to a website. This website is https://uleap.louisville.edu. This is the website for the University of Louisville's Educational Activities Podcast Server. We also call it the Media Server. The terms are synonymous. You are going to start by clicking here on Podcast Capture. Once you click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a place where it's waiting for you to put in a username and a password. Now, this username and password will be given to you by your instructor, and it will be unique to the class or the project that you're working on. I'm going to use this particular username and password. Yours will be different. And I'm going to log in. So the first thing it does, once I log in, is it's going to ask me, what am I looking for? What am I wanting to do? I'm going to make a file upload. This file upload is going to be the file that I have created using iMovie. By the way, you can use any video editing tool. If you have a PC at home that has Premiere on it or Digital 8, you can certainly use those. What you must realize is that they have to be saved in an MP4 format. That is the gold standard. That is the standard now for all video. Alrighty, so as you can see, it's now waiting for me to find my movie. Here it is, my large teaching movie, and I'm going to open that. I'm going to say OK. Now, if you are using a unique username and password, which you will, it will automatically put you in the right one of these projects or podcast or class media collections that we have created. So this will automatically take you where you need to go when you sign in with the correct username and password. Episode. This is going to be titled My Teaching by my name. The description. My teaching on March 16th, 2015. I am teaching a social studies class. Third period at Seneca High School. Okay, this will give me all the information I need to know to understand what your video is. So let's review. I went out, found the video. Simple as that. If I have logged in with a unique username and password, it will put it into a unique location. Otherwise, it puts it into what we call the sandbox. My title should be have my name in it, and my description should give me a date and what I'm teaching and where I was teaching at. I'm going to now click on Published. Okay. At this point, we are waiting for the file to leave the computer and go to the podcast server. I'm going to pause it again, and then when I come back, I'll tell you how many minutes it takes for this to happen. 10 minutes later, it has finished the upload. So as you can see, this is a process of being patient. But the good news is, even though that very large 53-minute file only took about 10 to upload to the podcast server, the media server. Now, it is not ready. It still has to be compressed and created to be available and visible out to the web. But the good news is this takes about another 2 hours. So I'm finished. I could now leave. In 2 hours time, I can come and take a look at what my video has become. And let me show you what that looks like. So we're going to do the same process that we did at the beginning. We're going to log in with https://uleap.louisville.edu, and it's it's kind of stuck right now. It's stuck on, oh, I should be in the podcast producer. No, you shouldn't. Let's see if I can get it to switch over. Okay, so what I had to do was I just had to quit everything and then start the browser and type in, as you can see up here at the top, the uleap.louisville.edu. So where did my movie just now go? Well, let me show you. So I'm going to go here to Wikis, because that's the name that this server uses for the projects. And I'm going to look for the name of my project or the course that I'm in. Now, for our purposes in this video, I have put it in a space called ULEAP. You're going to be looking for a space that your instructor will tell you is the space that has been set aside for you to upload your media to. As you can see, we have lots and lots and lots of schools and classes that use this server. The one I'm looking for is called ULEAP. There it is. I'm going to click on it. And as you can see, there's two different areas that this website is set up with. This area that is called the wiki is essentially just a web page. Next to it is an area called the blog, and this is where videos get uploaded. And there it is. This is our video. As you can see, it also has a link. In other words, you can, when I move my mouse over the title of the video, it turns into a link. I'm going to click on that. It now takes me to the page where the video is, and now I am finished. I can take this URL, this address up here at the top. I can right click on it and copy it, and now I can go and log in to my LiveText account, and here is where I am now ready to place this into whatever assessment, project, assignment that my instructor has set up. So if I'm a student and I go in here, I'm going to look at my courses, and I'm sorry, one of the things that drives me a little crazy about LiveText is it doesn't hold on to the courses in student view that I need to have. So sorry, I'm going to jump back into faculty view. There we go. Courses. I can find a course that belongs to me. I can find the assignment. I can click on the assignment. I can find the template to use. In yours it'll say use this template. And then wherever the assignment tells me to, I can then paste the link that I just copied from here into that assignment, and I'm done. And that, my friends, is how you move from having a movie that you have filmed, taking it into iMovie, editing it in iMovie, uploading it to the ULEAP media server, and then taking it from the ULEAP media server to your assignment in LiveText. I hope this has been helpful.